What's going on, y'all? I want to come back with another little reaction to this video with the Perrys. We really appreciate if you guys like and subscribe because I'm trying to just grow and impact people's lives through the Bible. And if you're down for that, like, support, you know what I'm saying? It's that easy. So I like them because they're pretty authentic, and that's really hard to come by, as a Christian sometimes. And they just kind of walk through this thing called dating, which, I mean, if you're single, you know that it absolutely sucks nowadays. Social media is like blowing everything out the water, killing people's just self-worth, value, making people insecure, changing the standards of dating. Dudes can't talk to girls in person anymore. Like, it's terrible. And also, like, worse comes to worse. Like, people are bleeding their trauma from previous relationships into other people that are actually looking for love. And I think that sucks. So this is like a 45-minute episode. I'm not going to do the whole thing, just a small snippet that I wanted to talk about. But this is your chance again to like and subscribe. So I appreciate y'all for supporting. It really helps out. But let's get into it.
That there is I don't know if it's bigger now than it was, but like that it's hard out here for singles.
It is.
And that because it's hard out here, a lot of singles are just like, you know what? I don't have time to wait on a man or a woman who is a Christian. So let me go ahead and open up my world to non-Christians because I'll have more options. What do you think about that?
I think so. For me, so let me just say this for the record. I have seen believers be with unbelievers, and God has come along and saved their significant other, like somewhere down the line. I've seen that.
I'm going to say that I agree to that statement. What the girl said, I would assume Miss Perry, that people are just like throwing in the towel and like, screw it, I'm not going to wait for a Christian man or woman. And I think that's a little scary because you kind of have to ask yourself, like, first of all, what is dating? Like, what even is dating? Like, what is your definition of dating? And if you're getting into these situationships or like altercations or connections with the person that you like, and you don't have a standard like for yourself that you can stick to, not only because that's what you're supposed to do, but because you love yourself that much that you're not going to settle for less, or like settle because you want to get in a relationship. Maybe like your best friend next to you is like, they've been in a relationship for like 3, 4, 5 years. And you're like, oh my God, like I want that so bad. I want to feel love again, whatever. Don't settle for less. Like, if you have a standard, like, stick to it, because that's only going to help you weed out the weak. And you don't want to get in a situation where you're unequally yoked to somebody who's like straight out disrespecting, one, the God you believe in, and two, the values that God has placed in your life based on previous pain. And then from that pain, you establish prayer in relationship with God. And that relationship might have opened up the door for you to have values, and you should not like deviate from that at all. But I have seen people get in relationships that maybe the girl was a believer, the guy was a believer, and they both ended up getting saved. So I think that's valid. And I think people get placed in each other's lives for a reason. Like everything happens for a reason, but you kind of have to have those God goggles is what I call them, and be able to discern, like, is this person going to help me get closer to God or further away? And like, if it's further away, you kind of have to, like he said, like, again, stick to those values. So let's see what he has to say.
So
I feel like a lot of our grandmas have that testimony.
yeah, seriously.
Your grandma was the Christian and your granddaddy
All
wasn't.
the examples I've seen is like older couples, like my aunt who stayed with my uncle for years and just prayed for his salvation.
Yeah.
But typically, when I saw that happen, it was they both started off as unbelievers, and one became a Christian and prayed that God would save their significant other. You know what I'm saying? I think for a Christian to like intentionally choose someone who doesn't know Jesus because of whatever reason, I think you're probably not weighing, or I question if you're weighing all of the spiritual implications and all of the difficulties that might bring, because for whatever reason this person has sparked your interest. But have you considered all the baggage that person would bring when you serve two masters?
There's some legit logical reasons. One, you might like their face. Nice face. Two, they might have a good job. Awesome. You could take me out to eat. You could pay for it. You know, you ain't got to say, hey, I'll cash app you later. It's a situation.
Right.
They might have some ambition that you appreciate.
Might be a hustler.
Yeah, might have an education, all the things. And this is really important for women. They might not be corny. Because a lot of...
That was your thing.
Oh, that was huge to me. Because I was just like, why is all these Christian... All of them so... I mean, it's some women that really... That's on their list, cornball. That's in the list.
That's what they like.
I guess so, because they choose them. For me, that wasn't on the list. I need...
So, I mean, I think like the world really makes Christianity like this cookie cutter, like dating life. Like you have to do all these things to be considered dating. But like if your relationship isn't disrespecting God or sinning against him, like then you're on the right path, you know. I want to read this verse, 2 Corinthians 6:14, the temple of living God. It says, don't team up with those who are unbelievers. How can righteousness be a partner with wickedness? How can light live with darkness? What harmony can there be between Christ and the devil? How can a believer be a partner with unbeliever? And what union can there be between God's temple and idols? For we are the temple of the living God, as God said. So it's saying don't team up with unbelievers. And I think if I were to interpret those Bible verses, it would be the word wickedness comes out. And wickedness, I mean, it is what it is. It's wickedness. Like I mentioned earlier, like if the person's not flat out like disrespecting God, like if that person somewhat has that little mustard seed for him, then God can move maybe through you, who is the believer, into like God can use you to get to that person. This isn't a jewel, by the way. This is like my little keyboard thing. God can use you to get through to that person because maybe they had some church hurt. Maybe they had a bad experience in the past with, you know, the Bible, whatever it is. And they need somebody that can break it down to them and make them understand, maybe not just reading the Bible, but just like being a good person, them being curious as to why you are the way that you are. And then you can use that moment to glorify God and say like, well, you know, I'm like this because I love Jesus and he loves me. And this is the kind of love I want to show you because this is how he loves you. You know, that person might not have ever experienced that. And although it can be a tight rope to walk on, like a believer dating an unbeliever, But I think you need to have the discernment to separate your flesh from that person to protect your spiritual relationship with God, because if they, like I said, are openly out here like slandering him, disrespecting his name, like Goliath was to the Israelites, then it might be time for you to pack your bags, you know. But people are placed in your life for a reason, and the more you read the word and get into God's word, you're going to be able to have that discernment. Also prayer, like being able to pray and be like, hey God, like, what is this person doing in my life? What do you want me to do? If it's not a part of your will, like remove them. Like actively have that conversation and let him do his work with what he's already planned, and protect yourself in between. So yeah, like have that discernment and be able to separate yourself. Okay, this person is making me further away from God, and you shouldn't want that. That goes back to your values that you got from him based on maybe your past and the pain, or your pain in the past. So
Needed somebody who you didn't know if they were actually saved unless they opened up their mouth. When they walk down the street, like your eyes are yellow, your pants are sagging, you know, you don't speak right all the time. You got hands, but you love the Lord. That's perfect.
Whoa.
That's perfect.
You made me sound like a straight drug addict. Your eyes is yellow. Your
Not
pants.
a drug addict, a drug dealer.
So you.
That's what I wanted. I wanted
What
somebody.
are you talking about?
I wanted somebody that probably sold drugs once upon a time, but they gave their life to Jesus.
So that's a good point. I mean, she really just said that, but I'm here for it because, like, it doesn't have to be suit and tie, people. Like, I think in the dating world, social media has made it such a transactional thing that Christianity doesn't have a way to fit into that, because when you think of a Christian, it's like, you know, just the image that comes with that. And obviously that might turn people off, but, you know, Christians are humans. Like, we still have stories. Like, God uses the craziest of stories to reach to people. And you have to realize that, because we're all not going to be this suit and tie, like 24/7 person. Like, we are humans. We are subject to sin. We are sinners. That's what Jesus came down on earth for, to die for our sins and give us a chance to have a relationship with his Father. And like, fellas, if you're out there, like, and you've got your story, like, but you love the Lord, like, let that be your thing. And if you're having a hard time finding love, like, God is in control of that. And if you let him move in that realm of your life, this dating realm, and stop doing it your way or the way that the world thinks allows you to get into relationship with a girl, or a guy with a girl, or girl with a guy, change it up a little bit. Like, if you really feel like your morals and your heart are being shaken by God, like, listen to it and, like, do it differently. Like, try and talk to somebody different who, like, is open to the fact that they want God at the center of the relationship. That can only do two things: help you as a person, or make you run away because, like, you're just not ready for a relationship with them yet, and it might be overwhelming. You know, it might be something that you're not into. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to believe in Jesus if that's not what you want to do. Like, we're not out here to pitch this to you. Like, this is a choice that you get to make as an adult or a young adult. Like, this is your choice. So Christianity comes in so many different bodies, I would say, like in stories, and God shows up in people's lives in his own timing for his own purposes. And when you come across somebody like that who's actually got a story, but from that they've learned to love the Lord, that could be the what's it called? Like the seal. So the fact that she's like, your eyes was yellow, your pants was sagging, but as soon as you spoke, I know you love the Lord. And although, you're attracted to a certain thing, I don't know why she's attracted to drug dealers, but that's just her. I mean, more power to you. Says you're married now, so God bless you. But it's deeper than the surface. It's way deeper. And the healthy way to be in a relationship from a dating perspective, from a marriage perspective, or friendship perspective, is it's deeper than the outward appearance. Like when God was picking the next king of Israel, and King Saul sent some people out to, well, I can't remember if it was Saul, but when some guys went out to David's house and they were trying to find the new king, and Jesse, which is David's dad, has 8 sons, and his sons lined up and they were like, nah, he's not it. He's not it. He's not it. And the scripture says God doesn't judge people the same way. He doesn't judge people by their physical appearance. He judges them by their heart. So, like, the dating world now has it backwards. I'm not saying go out and date somebody that you're not attracted to. Like, that's not what I'm conveying here. But your physical attraction to the person should not be the end all be all of why you don't want to date somebody. Like, look at their heart. Seriously. See what kind of person they are. Like, don't date for potential. Like, date who this person is. Like, in relationships, even before you start dating, like, you get to interact with this human. Like, interact with this human and, like, see what their heart is like. Because you might be passing up gems every time, But if you're getting stuck in this cycle where, oh, she's hot, or, he's hot, like, that's all you're going to end up getting out of these interactions is the bragging rights to say that you went on a date with somebody hot. And nobody likes that when you're trying to find true love. So look at people's heart. Like, have those conversations and look at their heart. And it's a diamond in the rough here and there, but still, I mean, it's deeper than looks. It's deeper than looks. So, because imagine, like, if he didn't love the Lord, like, where would Miss Perry be at right now? Like, it would have been different for her, So set that standard for yourself. Don't settle for less. Have your values given to you by God, because the pain from your past, that let's not repeat, you know what I'm saying? Pray to him. You're allowed to ask him for the person that you deserve in your life. Nobody deserves to be getting cheated on, hurt, disrespected, verbally abused, things of that nature. Like, nobody deserves that. Like, God does not want you to have that. So put this at his feet and pray for it. Like, you're allowed to pray for it. I prayed for the girl, the woman I'm dating right now, and we've been dating for 2 years, and it's only progressing from here, I would say publicly. So look into someone's heart. So when you're 90 years old, you're still in love with that person. When you're 90 years old, you're still able to serve that person because you're both serving somebody higher. You don't have to be a master at the Bible. Like, bite it off in chunks with your person, understand it, go to church, do what Jesus says to do, and continue to serve him to allow you to serve each other and yourself. That's important too in relationships. And you'll make it out all right, and love each other. Just be like Jesus is and love each other, correct each other, hold each other accountable. He did that a lot as he went on his ministry trips. Correction and accountability. He wasn't a pushover. So that would be my take on this. This is the little section that I wanted to go over. I'll let her close out, but don't drop your values and ask God for the person that he wants you to be with. It's that simple. And pray on it and practice what it is that you're supposed to be doing in your singleness. Because if you're getting further and further away from yourself because you're trying to fill a void, because you want a relationship so bad that you're rushing into all these situationships and people that may cloak themselves to be worth the time, but if they're not matching up with the standards that God is giving you, because now you have more self-worth looking back on the relationships you had in the past, like you have more worth in what you went through back then, because now you say, God, like, I don't want to keep doing this anymore. I don't want to have this pain anymore. And through, fellowship with other good people, including good Christians, you're able to stand up that worth and avoid dealing with the bad apples. You're not going to avoid all of them, but at least try to avoid some of them.
So what does that do for you? Explain to the people.
I'm attracted to that.
So what?
Especially because you got to understand, I'm a very aggressive woman. I'm really dominant. And so I needed a man who is equally or more dominant than me. Because if I see anything in a man that I can control, it automatically I don't have any respect for him. And if I can't respect you, we can't be good. And so for you, when we first met, it was clear that you were not afraid of me, which was huge.
Absolutely.
It was clear that you also respected me and wanted me to share my voice and my opinions and all my things. Like, you never quenched the personality that God has given me. And then you're not a cornball.
So define cornball.
So that is key. Because how can I say this? So in the dating world, I've been dating my girlfriend for 2 years now, but I don't have to search anymore. Thank God. The unfortunate part about the dating world now is it's becoming very ABC 1, 2, 3. Like, step one, you swipe right or you match. Step number 2, you go on a date. Step number 3, you go on a second date. Step number 4, you go on a third date. Step number 5, if you make it there, it's probably a month and a half in, 2 months. You're probably supposed to be dating now. And I'm cool with that. But here's what I'm not cool with is that you lose so much like human interaction when you're doing it like compartmentalized like that. Whereas the traditional setup, I would say, is as a man, I can speak from a man's perspective because I'm a man, is the courting somebody where, you know, maybe step 1 is you're with a group of friends and you guys go out for ice cream, you meet, you have some laughs. So, okay, cool. Like, you know, I think I would want to talk to her again. So, you know, that's interaction 1. Interaction 2 is, you know, hey, let's go grab some coffee. Like you get to have so much more interaction from a like just human standpoint. Whereas the dating scene, it fast forwards through all that stuff, and you miss out on red flags for 1. You miss out on a lot of human interaction and great conversations that you can have to see somebody's heart. Because when you look through, you know, a social media profile or a dating profile, they're not going to be able to see your worst. They're not going to be able to see when you up crying at night because you've been single for 3 years and you just want to find love and you're questioning and you're doubting yourself that, am I even worth being loved anymore? They don't see that. And I mean, who wants to go on a date and talk about their exes? Like, that's like rule number 1 not to do, you know? So when she said that he was not afraid of me, I feel like what the dating scene is creating is afraid people. It's creating standoffish people. And that is a response to protect yourself from previous past bad relationships. Because you can be so disconnected emotionally when somebody matches with you. Maybe you have a lot of options, maybe you don't. You can be so disconnected because you know you can swipe right or whatever and match with somebody else. Like, you have to ask yourself, is this stroking my ego, or like, why am I even on this app? Like what am I doing on this app? And it's creating people that are afraid because you're like, you literally skip the fact that, okay, I have to go up in person and approach this woman or this man. The standards say girls don't approach men. I disagree with that. The standards say that the guy has to take the girl out. Like, all these things, all these rules and regulations that make people afraid and afraid of rejection. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, on this episode, it's woman and man. Woman and man. And like, human interaction is so important. Like, being able to be humans together is so key. And that's my opinion. If you disagree, comment. And I'm an advocate for the dating apps, but you've got to be on there for the right reasons, because there's people on there that are not on there for the right reasons. And it's killing people's confidence. Like she just said, like, you were not afraid of me. And to work that into God, or let relate that back to just being a believer is when you've gone through something and Jesus and your relationship with God has spiritually empowered you to stand tall and get up every day when you've gone through something, your confidence is different. Your confidence is different, especially when he's delivered you from pain, trauma. I mean, my father passed away in November, and I wouldn't be where I am right now without my faith. But that has made me that much more confident as a man, especially for my girlfriend, because I've gone through some things and I've relied on God, not my own strength. And that has strengthened me more as a person, and people appreciate that. Like, people appreciate you being you and you being yourself. So people are afraid to approach people in person. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of just the ins and outs of human interaction, because as soon as you swipe right, the dopamine hit goes off. They're interested in me. You wouldn't have swiped right if you didn't think I was handsome, or you didn't think she was beautiful. So it skips like a really big chunk of interaction that, in my opinion, I believe is very important for the foundation of a potential relationship. Don't be friends first. I mean, I disagree. Like, sometimes sometimes end up being the best ones. So, express your intentions early. Let them know what's up, so you don't, so you're not trying to portray yourself and, hoping they're reading in between the lines and you get friend zoned. But let them know, be bold and be confident that, this is what I want. You're lining up with it. I've prayed on this. You and I have been on, we've FaceTimed, we've talked on the phone, we've had great conversations. I like hanging out with you. You like hanging out with me, I can tell. Like, I want to continue being able to learn more about you and talk to you. And you'd be surprised how many people appreciate that. Like, not even joking. So I hope y'all learned about something from this. I'm going to do some more reactions to items like this, but send this to a friend that might need some help about dating. This is just my opinion again. I really hope you like and subscribe. I'm really trying to, use the gifts that God has given me to bring glory to him. And there's a lot about life that the Bible relates to and that I passionately want to study about and learn to be able to communicate that to you guys. Younger generation, older generation, whatever. So y'all have a good rest of your day. Be confident, be bold, pray to God, put him first. He will put somebody in your life that you deserve. And when that person is serving him and serving somebody higher, and that is cohesively matching up, there's plenty of relationships out there that are successful, and there is not a foundation of Christianity embedded into it. There's no judgment out here. But if you are a believer and that's what your forte is, and that's what you believe, and that's what you desire in your relationship, talk to God about it. Put it at his desk. Spend some time with him. Learn your values. Learn what your standards are. Allow him and your relationship with him to improve your self-worth, so you're not out here settling for, some people that are going to hurt you. Like, only allow people that are going to help you in your life. And that person should be helping you get closer to God, That person should be helping you improve mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and watch your life start to blossom. You all have a good day. Peace.